God's chosen ones, you've triumphed in faith. Now destiny is calling by name. A woman alone in a room, golden light hitting her face. She looks out a cracked window, gentle wind. Chosen one. If you're hearing this, it's no accident. God gave you the hardest exam of your life, and you passed it silently. No applause, no witnesses, just you. Shaking, crying, but still obeying. They thought you were breaking, but heaven was recording your faith. This is the moment God reveals why He hid you for so long. Your glow is proof you didn't cheat the test. Type 777 if your spirit just whispered, "This is my word." Dimly lit hallway, footsteps echoing. A woman kneeling by her bed, silent, Bible open, golden light creeping in. Chosen one. You didn't stumble here. You were sent here. You've been asking God why you went through so much, why the nights were so long, why no one saw your silent strength. Because heaven wasn't ignoring you, it was watching you. There are people who pass tests with applause, with comfort, with backup, but not you. You passed while shaking. You passed while losing everything. You passed when all you had left was one whispered prayer. God, just help me make it through the night. And He did. But He didn't just help you survive. He watched you triumph in faith. Hebrews 11:1 says, "Now faith is confidence in what we hope for, and assurance about what we do not see." You didn't see the reward. You saw God. And that was enough. You didn't chase a spotlight. You carried a cross. You didn't scream for help. You whispered yes when it hurt. You didn't fake it for people. You wept through the truth with God. And now, heaven is releasing what has been held back until you passed. This is the video that shifts something, the one your spirit's been waiting for. Because deep down, you know this season is different. You've been hidden, overlooked, refined, and now you're about to be revealed. Not because you're perfect, but because you are ready. If you're still here, it's because your soul knows. This isn't just encouragement, it's prophecy. Part 1. The Unseen Exam. Daily life, grocery store, car rides, prayer closet. All seeming normal yet spiritually charged. You thought you were just surviving, but heaven was grading every move. They never told you life would feel like a pop quiz with no instructions, no syllabus, no multiple choice, just silence and storms. Wake up, smile through betrayal, serve without thanks, lose without warning, love without being loved back. Every trial felt random. But chosen one, it wasn't random. It was an exam only the anointed could pass. Some people post about their faith, but you became yours. Some study scriptures, but you became a living one. You endured what others couldn't even witness because your exam wasn't public. It was sacred. And heaven wasn't looking for performance. Heaven was searching for purity under pressure. You crying in the car, grocery bags in hand. No makeup, no filters, just obedience. And that's where you passed the test. Not on a stage, but in the shadows. Not with certainty, but with trembling hands. Not with approval, but with aching silence. You weren't forgotten. You were being watched by angels. That moment you didn't clap back. That was the test. When you tithed with your last $20, that was the test. When you forgave them and they never even apologized, heaven wrote it down. You didn't need a study guide because your heart was the proof. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life. There were days you wanted to scream, "God, I'm trying. Why does it feel like I'm failing?" But you weren't failing. You were being forged. Your tears were the ink. Your loyalty was the answer. Your yes, even when it hurt, was the passing grade. Heaven doesn't test the way humans do. It doesn't look for perfection. It looks for faith that doesn't flinch. Faith that whispers, "I trust you," while everything breaks. Faith that doesn't curse God in the dark, but clings tighter. Faith that says, though he slay me, yet will I hope in him. You thought you were losing, but really God was watching to see. Would you cheat? Would you cut corners? Would you bow to culture? Or would you stay loyal in a world that rewards compromise? And you, chosen one, you didn't cheat. You stayed. You prayed. You grew. While others mocked, you matured. While others avoided fire, you let it refine you. While others chased platforms, you chased God's voice. Scribbled prayer, God, don't let this be for nothing. They laughed at your quiet life. They pitied your singleness. They mocked your standards, but they never knew you were passing the divine exam. They thought your silence was weakness, but heaven called it submission. They thought you were behind, but you were being positioned. The enemy sent the fire to destroy you. God allowed the fire to reveal you. You passed the test because you let the breaking make you better, not bitter. And now, heaven is announcing approved, appointed, anointed. You didn't get applause. You got oil. You didn't get affirmation. You got authority. You didn't get likes. You got light. You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. You didn't pass for people to celebrate. You passed for heaven to activate. This next chapter, it's not your reward. It's your release. You're not being elevated for fame. You're being elevated for impact. What if your loneliness was never punishment, but placement for elevation? What if your unseen exam was really God's way of crowning you in secret? So no man could take the credit, chosen one. You didn't just survive the exam, you mastered it. And now heaven is about to show the world why you were hidden so long. Part 2. When God went silent. The bedroom at 3:11 a.m., phone face down, Bible untouched. Worship music paused halfway. God's silence isn't his absence, it's his strategy during the exam. There was a moment, maybe more than one, where you cried so hard you thought your chest would break. But no reply came, no sign, no warmth, no whisper. Heaven silent. You said, God, just say something, anything. I can take the pain. I just need to know you're still here. But the silence stayed. And in that silence, something holy was happening. You laying in bed facing the wall, no sound, just a clock ticking, a tear falling without drama. You didn't know this at the time, but silence isn't the absence of God. It's often the sign that a test is already underway, just like a teacher doesn't talk during the exam. God was watching, marking your reactions, observing your character, measuring your faith when nothing made sense. God's silence is not a rejection, it's a revelation. He wasn't ignoring you. He was watching the pages of your soul turn. Some of the greatest answers from God are disguised as silence. The Lord is near to all who call on him, but sometimes, chosen one, he's near and still doesn't speak. Not because he's cruel, but because he's protecting what's sacred. There are things God speaks openly, and then there are things God guards with silence. Your next move was so holy, so delicate, so powerful, he had to cover it with stillness. Because if he had told you everything too soon, you would have run ahead, told people too fast, tried to control the outcome. So he went quiet to protect your becoming. You weren't abandoned, you were being guarded. You at a prayer altar, no breakthrough, but you stayed. You kneeled anyway. You whispered thank you anyway. That's when heaven smiled, not when you shouted, but when you still trusted in silence. Be still and know that I am God. Stillness isn't weakness. Stillness is a sword in the spirit. Stillness means I don't need proof. I have peace. People said, why don't you move on? Family whispered. You're wasting your life. Your own mind said, maybe God forgot. But you stayed. You worshiped empty. You prayed dry. That's not failure, chosen one, that's faith on fire. Your silence wasn't God punishing you. It was God protecting the oil. You had to go through a season where even your voice didn't echo back. So when his real voice came, you would never confuse it with the world's noise. You passed the silence test. And now, the sound of breakthrough is coming. You'll hear him more clearly now because you trained your ears in stillness. The same God who seems silent is about to speak so loud creation will respond. The doors will open. The favor will find you. The glory will fall. Because you didn't leave when he said nothing. What if his silence was your graduation ceremony? The silence wasn't abandonment. It was your ascension, and now the silence is breaking, and God is speaking your name. Part 3. No shortcuts. No cheating. Decision moments. Job offers that didn't feel right. Relationships you walked away from, temptations that looked like blessings. True favor requires true fidelity, and you passed the integrity exam when no one else even saw it. You could have taken the easy way out, and no one would have blamed you. You had every reason to quit, to settle, to blend in. The shortcuts were there, the fast cash, the flirty DM, the easy compromise. And yet, you stayed loyal, you stayed clean, because deep down, you knew this wasn't about success. It was about your soul. You closing your laptop instead of replying to that easy money offer. Turning off your phone instead of texting back the one who hurt you. Sitting in stillness instead of forcing a yes. They told you, you're too picky. You should just take the deal. Nobody lives like that anymore. But they didn't know. You weren't living for people's applause. You were living for God's approval and chosen one. That obedience in the dark was the moment heaven marked you. You were graded in the spirit realm not by what you gained, but by what you were willing to walk away from. God didn't test your gifting, he tested your guardrails. The devil tempts with opportunities that feel right, but cost too much oil. You didn't miss a blessing, you passed a boundary test. You saw others rise faster. They got the promotion, they got the man, they got the spotlight. But what they built came through compromise. You were building something different, something holy, and now you're stepping into favor that comes with no regret. The blessing of the Lord brings wealth without painful toil for it. There were nights you asked God, why are you letting others win when they cheat the system? And God whispered, because I'm not giving you what they have. I'm building you for what only the faithful can carry. You looking out the window, watching others walk ahead, while God turns your path through wilderness but fills it with light. Some people took the shortcut and lost their soul. You took the long road and found your crown. Broad is the way that leads to destruction, but narrow is the path that leads to life. You didn't just choose the narrow road, you suffered on it, you sweated on it, and still you stayed the course. You didn't cheat to win. That's why your reward will be pure, permanent, and protected. God can trust you now because you didn't manipulate outcomes. You didn't chase platforms. You didn't try to make it happen without him. Your integrity was tested. Your loyalty was measured, and you didn't fold. Now God is saying, because you proved you could obey without applause. I'm about to give you a reward that no man can take away. What did you walk away from that hurt at the time, but was really heaven's proof you could be trusted chosen one? You didn't cheat the test. That's why the reward won't come with shame. It will come with glory. Part 4. The breaking that built you hospital room. Empty apartment, car with no gas. Prayer floor with no answers. What felt like destruction was actually construction. The collapse was part of your becoming. They thought you were breaking down, but God was building you up. With his bare hands, there were moments when you thought you had nothing left. No strength, no help, no hope. It wasn't just a bad season, it was total collapse. You lost people, you lost security, you even lost parts of yourself. And still, somehow, you didn't lose your yes. Surrounded by unopened mail, worship music still playing in the background. The world called it depression. Heaven called it divine demolition. God wasn't punishing you. He was stripping away everything that couldn't go with you. See, I have refined you, though not as silver. I have tested you in the furnace of affliction. You weren't just sad. You were shedding old patterns, old beliefs, old versions of you that no longer fit the next dimension. Before elevation, God brings excavation. That pit you were in, it was a foundation being dug for glory. Your breakdown wasn't your burial, it was your blueprint. God doesn't waste pain. He recycles it into power. You didn't break, you birthed. You begged God to stop the pain, but He allowed it. Not to destroy you, but to distinguish you. Think of Joseph. Stripped, betrayed, forgotten, but not broken. He had to lose the coat to gain the crown. So did you. You had to be emptied so heaven could pour something new in. Lights shut off crying in bed, walking alone at dawn. The breaking wasn't loud, but it was holy. They didn't see the nights you almost quit, the mornings you had no strength to get up, the friends who ghosted, the family who never called, the healing that came way too slow. But God saw it all. He caught every tear. And none of it was wasted. Chosen one, you weren't being broken by life. You were being built by God. You thought you lost your identity, but you found your anointing. You thought the pain was punishment, but it was preparation. You thought it was the end, but it was just the end of who you used to be. God was breaking the false you to reveal the fire-tested, battle-born, fully surrendered version. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. What broke you, blessed you. What crushed you, crowned you. What stripped you, strengthened you. What if your greatest heartbreak was the exact hammer God used to unlock your calling, chosen one? They saw you break, but they didn't see what was being built inside you. And soon, when the foundation rises, they'll see the glow that only broken places can carry. Heaven's private grading. Ordinary days, unseen sacrifices, silent forgiveness, late nights no one knew about. You didn't get applause, but you got recorded. Every act of purity, every surrender, every no one saw, was noted in heaven. You thought no one noticed, that your yes didn't matter, that your integrity didn't shift anything. But chosen one, heaven was watching. Angels were documenting. God was grading every silent act of obedience, not with a red pen, but with golden ink. You leaving a voicemail of forgiveness, paying for someone's meal in secret, saying no when you really wanted yes, tears silently falling as you walk away from something comfortable. The world claps for results. God crowns for righteousness. While others manipulated their way to the top, you bowed your head in secret and prayed through your losses. You chose character over clout, and heaven wrote it down. The eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and His ears are attentive to their cry. Every time you turned the other cheek, every time you loved someone who didn't deserve it, every time you didn't defend your name, every time you worshipped with nothing left, it was graded, and not just passed, you exceeded the standard. While the world was checking who was trending, heaven was checking who was trusting. You didn't get credit, you got confirmation. The quietest yes is often the loudest in heaven. A tattered journal with tear-stained prayers. No views, no followers, just devotion. You thought you were behind, but God says you're ahead in obedience. You're first in faithfulness. You're top of the class in surrender. No man gave you a trophy, but heaven carved your name on a scroll. Not because you shouted, but because you obeyed. Your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. God had to keep you hidden because the weight of your calling couldn't be revealed prematurely. So while others were being celebrated publicly, you were being certified privately. You didn't cheat. You didn't copy. You didn't rush. You waited. You wept. You worshiped while waiting. And now heaven is saying, This one passed the test, not with talent, but with truth. Chosen one. The grades are in, and you passed with honors in heaven. You may not have degrees, you may not have accolades, but you have divine distinction. Heaven's records don't fade, God's files don't get deleted, and your name is highlighted in glory. What if the things you were ashamed and no one saw were the exact moments God was crowning you in silence? They didn't clap. They didn't say thank you, but chosen one. Heaven stood up. You passed when no one was looking. And now the reward will come when everyone will. Part 6. The glow up. No one saw coming, same streets, same face. But now your spirit glows. The light in you is no longer hidden. The same people who overlooked you now feel something different when you enter the room. You don't look like what you've been through, and that's the point. They expected scars, they expected bitterness, they expected something broken, but instead, you walked out glowing. And it's not makeup, it's not money, it's not success, it's divine residue. Slow walk through the neighborhood. A neighbor glances up, a child smiles at you. People stare, not in judgment, but curiosity. Something's different. And they can't name it. You're still you, but you're not the same. Your posture is anchored, your eyes carry clarity, your smile holds fire, and it's not random, it's not a trend, it's transfiguration. And the Lord make his face shine upon you. And number 6, 25. It's happening on you, in you, through you. Your glow isn't cosmetic. It's consecrated. You didn't chase it, you became it. Your face is proof that the fire refined you, not destroyed you. They don't know you cried for months, that you almost broke, that you whispered, Lord, if you don't help me, I'm done. But now they see a light, a peace, a posture of power that didn't come from perfection but from pure surrender. Those who look to him are radiant. And chosen one, you're radiant now. This isn't a comeback. This is a reveal. Same face. But now, peace, presence, holy stillness, you finally see what God saw all along. You're not forcing anything, not over-explaining, not trying to fit in. You walk in and rooms shift, because glory doesn't shout, it carries weight. And now, you carry weight. Chosen one, your glow is not for aesthetics, it's for assignment. That light in you will open rooms, confuse enemies, attract favor, stir conviction, heal the broken, and remind the world that miracles wear ordinary faces. This glow isn't about being seen, it's about what's been sealed in you. You didn't fake your way here. You faithed your way here. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. You are the city on a hill now. You are the lampstand. You are the evidence that God lives in silence, speaks in fire, and rewards in light. What if the version of you they tried to ignore is now the version heaven intends to highlight? Chosen one, they'll ask what changed. But you won't have to explain it, because the glow speaks louder than your story ever could. Part 7. You are now a catalyst, a familiar place, work, church, family gathering, but your presence now carries a divine charge. You are no longer just on the journey, you are leading others into theirs. God is using your transformation to activate dormant faith in those around you. You didn't ask for this, you never auditioned. But chosen one, you've become a catalyst. Something shifted, you can feel it. You used to walk into rooms unnoticed. Now conversations pause, eyes track you, hearts stir near you. And no, it's not about ego, it's about evidence. You carry something. You walking into a family dinner, it's quiet. Someone you haven't seen in years looks up and whispers, "What happened to you?" It's not what you wear, it's not your voice, it's what you carry, the oil, the fire, the assignment. God is activating others through your existence. For the creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed. And now you are being revealed. You are someone's answered prayer in human form. Your survival didn't just save you, it summoned others. The glow on you is now a green light for someone else's breakthrough. People around you are feeling something different, not because you're better, but because you've been burned and refined. Now your very presence makes the atmosphere shift. You are the salt of the earth. You didn't just survive the storm, you became the weather pattern. You praying in secret. Now someone quietly comes up and says, "Can you pray for me?" This is what being chosen looks like. You don't try to lead, for you live surrendered, and others follow the trail of light. This isn't about being a preacher. This is about being a presence. You carry peace into chaos, hope into fear, faith into indecision, and they can't explain it, but they want what you have, because what they feel around you is what they've been missing inside. You didn't just survive the test. You became proof that the test produces glory. Your glow isn't just a reward, it's a revival agent. God didn't just anoint you for you. He anointed you because someone else's freedom is tied to your obedience. You standing in front of a mirror, a younger version of you appears behind you in the reflection, watching, learning, awakening. You've become the person you once needed. You are the voice someone else is waiting for. You are the light someone else is following home. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because He has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. You're not just healed, you're activated. You're not just whole, you're a healing force. What if your pain wasn't just personal, but prophetic fuel to awaken others who've been asleep in theirs? You are the spark now, the igniter, the light switch in a dark hallway. Chosen one, you're no longer just in revival. You are the revival. Part 8, abundance, is the next language. You're not just being blessed, you're being entrusted. The famine is over, the flow has begun. Chosen one, you've suffered in silence. You've tithed from nothing. You've given with shaking hands. And now, God is about to change your language. You've spoken in tears long enough. You've prayed through unpaid bills, through "I'll just eat later," through "God, can I get gas or groceries?" Not both. But that's not your forever. That was your faith test. And now, abundance is your next language. You opening a mailbox expecting another bill, and instead a check. Groceries at the door. Your name called for an opportunity you didn't apply for. This is not a reward. It's a response to your surrender, because God doesn't bless performance. He blesses positioning. The Lord will open the heavens, the storehouse of His bounty. Deuteronomy 28:12. And heaven's storehouse has your name on the next shipment. You didn't chase wealth, you chased righteousness. And now wealth will follow you. You didn't just wait for overflow, you became a vessel that couldn't be ignored. This abundance isn't materialism, it's divine equipment for your assignment. This isn't just about money, this is about movement. Moving out of the apartment you cried into the home your faith built. Moving from budgeting in fear to building in freedom. Moving from survival conversations to strategic kingdom instruction. You didn't suffer to stay small. You struggled so you'd never forget how to steward. My cup overflows, not leaks, not drips. Overflow. And overflow doesn't just fill you, it touches everything and everyone around you. You handing someone a $10 bill when you barely had $20. Now you're writing checks, funding missions, launching vision. This isn't about selfish gain, it's about sacred generosity. God is equipping you so others can live, so His name can be known, so His people can breathe again. You've been faithful with little. Now He's about to trust you with more than you can contain. Abundance is not the goal. Obedience is the goal. Abundance is just the byproduct of your obedience. You're not chasing the bag. You're carrying the blueprint. And that's why the bag is about to chase you. People who once laughed at your sacrifice now calling you for help. But you're not bitter. You're blessed enough to bless. You smile and send the check. Give and it will be given to you. Pressed down, shaken together and running over. Chosen one, your runover season is here. What if God allowed the season of lack so you'd never misuse the season of overflow? You're not rich, you're resourced. You're not collecting, you're carrying. Abundance isn't a status, it's your new language. Speak it with stewardship, spend it with strategy, sow it with power, because you're not just blessed, you're trusted. Part 9. You are glowing different now. A mirror, a hallway, a random encounter where someone says, "There's something about you. You don't just look different, you resonate different." The glow isn't external, it's eternal. Chosen one, there's a shift happening in your presence. You feel it, others feel it, but they can't explain it. They look at you and hesitate, not in fear, but in reverence. They sense something changed, and they're right, because you're glowing different now. You're walking into a coffee shop. People glance up. A child smiles. An elder says, "You have a peace on you." You don't speak, but everything around you listens. You didn't get surgery. You didn't change your makeup. You didn't buy a new wardrobe. You changed your spirit, and now your light is testifying louder than your lips ever could. Those who look to him are radiant. Their faces are never covered with shame. You're not just glowing, you're glory-wrapped. This isn't a trend. This is transfiguration. You've been in the fire, you've been in the dark, you've been on the altar, and now you shine with the residue of survival plus surrender. Your glow didn't come from cosmetics, it came from consecration. You're not aging, you're ascending. They can't explain it, but they'll feel it every time you walk in the room. This glow doesn't just catch attention, it calls atmospheres into order. That meeting room shifts when you speak. That friend group feels different when you pray. That hospital room heals faster when you visit. Because your presence now carries prophetic weight. They start crying and say, "I don't know why, I just feel safe here." This glow isn't for flex, it's for function. You've become a mirror reflecting God's face in a weary world. Arise, shine, for your light has come. This is not normal light. It's called light. It came from nights no one saw, prayers no one heard, forgiveness no one understood, faith no one could measure. You didn't just shine, you bled until you became light. Chosen one. The glow is real, and it didn't come cheap. You carry oil, you carry wisdom, you carry the weight of glory, not because you wanted attention, but because you surrendered in silence. Now even your silence glows with God. Moses came down from the mountain, and his face was shining. You've been on your mountain, now you're walking down shining. What if your glow isn't for beauty, but to break chains in rooms you haven't even entered yet? You're glowing different now, not because of what you gained, but because of what you gave up. This glow is proof of grace, proof of pain survived, proof of God alive in you. Chosen one, walk in it. Don't dim it, don't explain it. It's not a phase, it's your signature. Part 10. You are ready to lead others out. Familiar territory, same neighborhood, same people. But now you are different. You didn't survive just for yourself. You're now called to be a deliverer, a light bearer to those still walking through what you already conquered. Chosen one, you didn't go through all of that just to glow. You went through it to guide. You're not a victim of your story. You're the map out of it. You know the way now. You've walked through fire, through betrayal, through silence, through lack. And you came out carrying keys. You sitting at a park bench. Someone joins you heavy-hearted. You don't preach, you just say, "I've been there," and everything shifts. You don't need a pulpit. You are the pulpit. You don't need a title. You carry the oil. You don't need permission. God already said go. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives. You're ready now, not because you feel ready, but because you're walking proof that freedom is possible. Your scars speak. Your silence carries wisdom. Your past has been recycled into a blueprint for breakthrough. You didn't survive just to move on. You survived to go back and lead others out. You don't need a platform. You are the platform. You're not who you used to be. You're who someone else needs right now. A woman crying alone in her car. A man sitting on a porch, questioning life. You don't say much, but your presence ignites hope. Because your light whispers, you're not alone. They'll come to you, not always directly, not always loudly, but they'll start watching, asking, following. Why? Because you carry evidence, not theory, not sermons. Survival plus spirit. You walked it. Now you're leading through it. You're the Moses of your circle, the Deborah of your family, the Nehemiah of your generation. This isn't pressure, it's prophetic responsibility. God trusted you with the pain so he could trust you with the people. You at your lowest asking God, is this all for nothing? Now that moment becomes someone else's miracle. Chosen one. You are not just called, you are commissioned. You're not waiting for a stage. You are walking in a mantle. You've been in the cave long enough. The cave made you wise. The cave made you quiet. The cave made you dangerous to darkness, but now, come out, open your mouth, shine your light, and lead them out. Who's waiting on the other side of your obedience? You didn't go through the wilderness to die there. You went through it to lead a nation out. And now your yes is someone else's escape route. You are the path. You are the signal. You are the proof. Chosen one. You are ready. Go get them. Morning light through a cracked window. You sitting alone with a journal. Tears dried. Peace present. Chosen one. If you've made it here, it's not because you needed another message. It's because your spirit needed confirmation. You didn't imagine the warfare. You didn't exaggerate the pain. You weren't wrong to keep believing. You were passing the hardest exam of your life, and heaven was silently grading you with glory. And now, your results are in. You survived. You stayed. You passed. You trusted when it made no sense. You whispering in prayer, crying into your steering wheel, choosing kindness over revenge, waking up early just to say, thank you one more time. And now heaven is saying, you didn't cheat. You didn't quit. You didn't blend in. You were chosen. You are proven. You are ready. You've triumphed in faith. And because of that, God is unlocking the next chapter, not as a reward, but as confirmation. I saw everything, and it mattered. This is your season of sacred abundance, holy alignment, spiritual visibility, prophetic release. Your light is not a coincidence, it's a commission. You are glowing different. You are leading now. And the gates of hell cannot unchoose what God has ordained. Can you feel it now, that quiet fire inside your chest? That's not emotion, that's activation. You were never forgotten. You were never disqualified. You were being forged in faith. And now, you are the light God will send into dark places. Walk boldly, love deeply, give freely, because the mantle is real, and it's on you. If this spoke to your soul, if you know this was your confirmation, type 707 in the comments to declare, I passed, I'm ready, I receive it. Subscribe to walk with thousands of other chosen ones, walking this sacred journey together. Like and share this with someone who's been silently passing their own exam, because we rise together. Chosen one, heaven saw you, and now the world will too. You were chosen.